Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here Friday, the day before the big holiday weekend here on Lions Talk Live. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Trying to make a push to get to 5,000 subs before kickoff tomorrow night. We need about, I want to say, 60 or 70 subs to make that happen. So if you could help out with that, I surely would be thankful in this holiday season. Also, if you're watching the show either live or later on in the day, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps kick the show out to new users. And if you are able to do that, thank you so much. All right, one last thing before we get into today's show. If you are not aware, outside of being a coach, a scout, and a YouTuber, I am a realtor and have been for over 30 years since, somewhere in the early 90s. I am known as one of Zillow's premier agents, so it means I'm in the top 5% of the country. That means Zillow will actually reach out to me if somebody like you calls or anybody calls on a property and says, hey, we got some questions. And we've rated high enough, got it graded high enough where they go ahead and send people to me knowing that I'll do well by them. So if you're looking to save money either on the purchase or sale of a property in the state of Michigan or even beyond Michigan, give me a call, shoot me a text. See the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. All right, with all the formalities out of the way, we got a big game tomorrow. And while we're all focused on the game, we're all focused on the playoffs, let's also take a moment and think back 3 years ago, just where the franchise was. Brad Holmes was hired as a general manager. He inherited a coach that was just recently hired, an MCDC. Probably a lot of people across the nation, across the fan base, everybody probably assumed the same thing, that, man, oh, man, we've seen this show before. You know, how good or bad is this really going to be? Yeah, expectations were incredibly low, especially if you remember that first season in Detroit. People were yelling about Goff, the offense, the defense, everything in between. But kind of a magical thing happened towards the end of the year. We got a tie. We got a tie against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then what do you know? We got a literally last second win against the Minnesota Vikings. Before going on from there, we got a win against the Arizona Cardinals, who some were calling at that point one of the number one team in the NFL. And from there, I think we all know we even got a win against the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers. Started a 4-game winning streak against them. And from there, things have just continued to go upward. So while we're all taking a moment and saying, hey, the playoffs are nearly here, we got a chance for the number 1 or number 2 seed, let's also appreciate just how quickly these particular individuals have changed this franchise around. All right, let's get into the comment section, get this thing moving and shaking. JDC, good morning all. Go Lions. Good morning to you too, my friend. Glad you're here, and hopefully you're having a great one. All right, Robert, greetings and salutations. Dan, did you see St. Brown's new Old Spice commercial? I have not seen that yet, but I have heard commentary about it. I'm sure we'll see it during the game probably a few times tomorrow night. Robert, I am confident Saturday night the Lions will be taking care of business and probably hopefully doing it without working overtime, if you see what I did there. I think there's some good situations to be had here. The Lions do meet or hit a lot of Dallas's weaknesses. The opposite side of that is Dallas can hit some of our weaknesses as well. So I'm anticipating it's going to be a slugfest. I don't think it's going to be a blowout one way or the other. I do believe it's probably going to come down to the last 5 minutes or so of the game. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the Lions put this thing to rest early, but that is not my anticipation. Hey, Thomas, how are you, man? Good to see you in the chat. Greetings and salutations. Lions once again will show the nation who they are. Gibbs and Demo will have big games. And Jameson breaks out. Hutch back on the sacks with 2. I'd be okay with all that. Those would be good performances by definitely some of our key core players. We can make that happen. So much the better for us. All right, JDC. He's shaking the magic 8 ball, and he says, Lions 38, Cowboys 30. I would take that. And, I know this is one of the biggest spreads. I don't know much about Vegas or gambling or betting or anything, but I have heard commentary that the Lions and the Cowboys are the biggest spread, I guess, of the year or something of that effect, that Vegas is anticipating there will be over 53 points scored in this game. That's about as much as I know about Vegas, but I know that doesn't happen a lot. All right, Robert, what do you got? Good morning, Dan and crew. Good morning to you, my friend. Detroit D, good morning to all. One pride, baby. Absolutely right, Detroit D. And good morning to you, too. And, man, we're going to be feeling a whole lot more pride with a win tomorrow night going into the new year. So we all got something to look forward to. And I think, man, this is going to be one heck of a game. There's a reason why I think that both teams are where they are. Obviously, they've had good seasons. They've got, some pretty good offensive weapons, good quarterback play, good defenses. This is going to be a slugfest. Robert, what do you got? Good morning, do crew. Same to you, my friend. Hopefully you're having a do one and got the do ready. I know I'm looking forward to about an hour from now having my morning do. Robert, in my opinion, the Lions play better against better teams. There could be some truth to that. Sometimes teams just, most people know when it's a game and when it's not a game. They have just internal expectations. Doesn't mean you can't be caught off guard or sleeping by another team, but most of us know when a team is a real threat or not. And to your point, I think they're going to go in here ready to play against this game or against this team. Robert, Lions by 1 million. All right. I like the fact you're being cautious and conservative with your prediction, but you know what? We'll probably settle for a 1 million point win. Lions undefeated in primetime games this season. Yes, somebody's always going to have to go. Dallas obviously undefeated at home. Lions undefeated in primetime. Hey, I think we're going to do everything we can to keep our streak going and put theirs to rest. All right, JDC, I forgot to give Chris Spielman. Oh, I did forget to mention Chris Spielman. I thank you for a couple of shows back. Thank you, Chris Spielman. Yeah, as you guys probably all see from the thumbnail, trying to give some props and praise to Brad Holmes, MCDC. But to your point, Sheila Ham Ford needs some praise. Maybe you could even say Wolf needs some praise. And yes, Chris Spielman needs some praise. All these people have come together to contribute, to find ways to turn this franchise around. And in less than 3 full seasons, we're back in the playoffs. We're division winners for the first time in decades. First time this century. I'm surprised somebody hasn't thrown that out. That just occurred to me too. In this century, the Lions have not won a division title. And yes, I think we all get it. It was 30 years ago. All right, Southwest, good morning, all. Good morning to you too, my friend. Hopefully you're having a great one, buddy. Robert, I'm having a good feeling. I'm having a good feeling for Saturday night, exclamation points. I'm thinking a close game, but with the ball in the lead, and the Lions will close the game out for a win, unlike what happened in Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, to your point, when the Lions have had an opportunity on offense to close out a game, they've done, a pretty dang good job of doing that in the last season or two. Going into this game, I think there's a real strong possibility, to your point, that the final drive, we've got the ball. We're doing something like we did in, I want to say San Diego against the Chargers and putting the game to rest. Michael, what do you got? Howdy, Dan and Lions faithful. Dallas has weaknesses in stopping the run, in passing the middle of the field. I would agree with that. Yeah, both are Lions' strengths. Lions will pull off the road win. Ooh, tight one, 33-31. Love your show, brother, and love you being in here, man, every day. So I appreciate you being in here and everybody being a part of a big group, big family out here. So hopefully we're all going to be watching this one, having a Mountain Dew, maybe some buffalo dip and spicy nachos. I mean, that's kind of my game plan for tomorrow night. So hopefully everybody's got their food of choice and beverages ready for a great game. One funky, Lions undefeated in prime time and Dallas undefeated at home. Something has to give. I'm thinking the Dallas undefeated at home. That's got to give, but hopefully that is the case. Good call on that one, funky. All right, Detroit D. Jack Campbell could pay big dividends if Dallas tries to run. Yeah, and while he's a rookie, while he has, not been stellar every game, he has steadily improved. And I know this time, man, a year ago, some people were questioning Jameson Williams. Heck, man, even at the start of this year, probably in the first quarter of the season or so, when he was back, people were questioning him. But look at him now, and I think we all see a budding superstar. We all had questions about a lot of these rookies drafted this particular season. But man, oh man, again, talking about credit to Brad Holmes, credit to MCDC, and whoever else you want to credit. But are we, any of us, questioning the picks now? Detroit D, I like what you're saying about Jack Campbell because I do think he's a run stuffer. He's improving in the pass game, which he was actually pretty decent with in college, but it is a different level, so it does take time. But I do like your point. I think good old Jack might have a bit of a game here tomorrow night. Robert, Dan, to follow up on yesterday, 49 30 73 5 is Otsego County, Gaylord, Michigan. I-75 and M32. Okay, good to know, and thanks for that. I forgot that I'd asked you that, but yeah, I know where Otsego Country is and Gaylord is, but I am not aware of the zip code. So thanks for clarifying that, man. All right, Boo, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew. Taking care of business, working overtime. Backman Turner overdrive, yeah, and work out. So, man, it's a great time to be a Lions fan, ain't it, man? Everything in the world seems to be going right for us. And it must be the end of times for all this to happen. But again, giving credit to a lot of different people. Give credit to the players, too. You don't really see anybody on this team pointing fingers at somebody else, talking bad about your mama or anything like that. These guys all seem to be focused in on working together and getting in a similar direction. I really think we've got something going on here, not just for tomorrow night, not just for this playoffs, but for the foreseeable future. Yes, there are going to be other teams in the division that are going to improve and challenge us, and that's the way it should be. Nobody should be just given the title or the division every year. But I like the way we're trending. I like the way we're focused as a team and as a franchise for the first time, really, in my memory. I mean, the 90s were pretty good. Don't get me wrong. But I do think the front office and the ownership of the Lions during the 90s kind of tanked those teams. All right, Detroit D, Dallas streak stops at 14 after Saturday. I like the way you're thinking, my friend. Southwest, with the Lions pass rush, opposing offensive lines often pushes the Lions into the outside, which allows the quarterback to have a clear view of the field or a lane to run. They do. And if you remember earlier in the season, Southwest, that's why at least part of the reason I think AG tried to use the cone formation or horseshoe formation, whatever I'll call it, where instead of asking guys to really outright rush the passer, he wanted everybody to just push the offensive line back into the quarterback. And for those reasons, try to be able to contain rushing lanes or opportunities and bottle up the quarterback plus some of the division. So good catch on that, my friend. Good catch. Kurt, who's ready for a Dallas beatdown tomorrow? Lions win by 10. All right, I'll take that. I think a lot of people would be okay with a 10-point win. JDC, Lions defense just make clean, hard tackles. Yeah, the other team's players, man, don't give them an opportunity to get extra yards or break tackles and turn a small gain into a bigger gain. Yeah, force them into a repeatable offense while trying to put some pressure on Dak Prescott. All right, Jerome, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Did you ever bench a starter? And if so, can you tell me, if so, do you tell him he sucks? Can he start again? I've benched people, yeah, throughout my career in different sports. Absolutely. Somebody isn't having their best performance, especially in a team sport. Tennis is different, so different world. But in team sports, absolutely. We're all human, man. We're all going to not have our best stuff there, here or there. But I also have an expectation as a coach that you understand if it's not your best day or you haven't practiced well or whatever the situation may be, that you're going to cheer on anybody who takes that spot because we're a team. One of the drills I actually do to try to illustrate this point, and you guys, you get a moment, you get a group of people. I don't care if it's a business opportunity, whatever. You want people to start to understand the power of reinforcement. Do this. Get everybody to play rock, scissors, paper. Everybody pick out a partner and do, let's just say there's 10, 20, 30 people in the room. Everybody pick it out. All right, I beat you. I'm going to the next one. You've got to cheer me on until the competition's over. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to have two people left one-on-one and everybody else cheering on for person A or person B. And that's really, you want to do a lot of team building things like that because at some point, to your point, Jerome, you're not going to be a starter. You're going to be out of the lineup, whether it's start of the game, middle of the game, or halftime, whatever it is, something's going to happen. But how you handle those moments needs to be a telling thing about who you are and where your team is. And that applies to business, not just athletics. But, I always tell people, man, you want to start again, you've got to re-earn it in practice. So, and if you teach them how to work hard, if you teach them how to overcome adversity, they'll find a way to get back in there. All right, Drake, Houston, and CJ back next week, Coach. I believe they both will be next week, probably on a limited basis against Minnesota, but I do believe you'll see them back. Detroit D, Kirby can't gamble. He has to stay disciplined. Yeah, and his So I know I talked about it earlier in the year where they were playing a ton of zone coverage with single high safety, and Kirby, for the most part, was the single high safety. They've obviously flexed out of that a little bit more and used more man to man at times. They're still mixed in some zone, but it's just not 99% of all snaps. To your point, Detroit D, yeah, he's going to have to stay disciplined and become a little bit more sound in things. Yeah, again, he's only in his second year, so he's got a lot more upside, but he is, in at least the last few games, starting to trend that way and get a little bit more developed. All right, Jerome, hey, coach, is the no huddle a good strategy? I'd say it depends on two things. One, your personnel. B, your philosophy as a coach. I would love it to death because you know what? It just really limits what the defense can do as far as substitutions, different patterns. Once the defense gets out there, if they got the wrong personnel to combat this or that, you need to keep hitting with them, and now you got them trapped. They can't do anything unless they want to burn the timeout, or there's a stoppage of play from a incomplete pass or something like that. But to me, I love helter skelter. Whether it's football, basketball, whatever. That's just how my teams play. It makes it incredibly stressful on other teams. There are some downsides to it for sure, but that's just I love to put the anxiety on the other coach and players. And if they're not in shape, which would be a specialty of probably most of my teams and in most sports, we're going to wear you out pretty quick. Michael, what do you got? Dallas has allowed Dak to be sacked 14 times in the last 4 games while only generating 4 in the last 4. Yeah, I'd seen something about that. He's been under heat a lot lately, Michael. And to your point, I think that's a trend that could continue this particular weekend, especially if Aaron Glenn continues to be aggressive. Doesn't worry about Dallas hitting some plays because they are going to do it whether you're aggressive or passive. But I think we need to keep coming after them. And to your point, keep the pressure on them. Keep hitting Dak. All right, AJ, greetings and salutations, Duke Cruz. Same to you, my friend. Hopefully having a great one. Detroit D, our running game should take the crowd out of the game and also maybe get Dak to press and force a couple passes. Yeah, and to your point, yeah, keep the ground game going. Keep their offense on the sideline as much as you can. And when Dak's out there, keep him guessing where the blitz is coming from. Hit him anytime you can because you know what? It's a cumulative effect. The more you chip away at the confidence or his, starting to get him with quick feet or getting rid of the ball a little faster than you can, to your point, that's when you start getting people to make mistakes. Jerome, morning, coach. Aaron Rodgers was good at running and hiking the ball when the defense was changing players in the design play call. Yeah, he was. And there are some quarterbacks that are very good at it. To me, I'm surprised more teams don't try to implement that. Hey, we're going to pseudo huddle up. And then once we see player A or B starting to hustle off the field, run to that line of scrimmage and call the play right away because you just force people into bad situations, and that's an advantage for you. All right, Brittany, 20 wins for the first time ever in 2 seasons. For the Lions, yeah, 100%. And I know that has been reported a ton. I know you've seen some things here and there on it, but I'm surprised people haven't made a bigger commentary about that. I mean, there's a lot of elite teams that don't do 20 wins in 2 seasons. Obviously, as the season schedule gets longer, that's a little bit more achievable. But make no mistake about it, for the Detroit Lions to have done it, that's a big tell about the direction of the franchise. All right, John Snow, greetings and salutations. Same to you. Jerome, hey, Coach, Philly is really good at the tush push. Is that hard to pick up first down? Is it that hard to pick up a first down? I think some of it's just the personnel they have. I mean, you start with the quarterback. He's got some power in them legs. Look at that in his size. Now you get people pushing, and of course you got a pretty decent offensive line in front of him. It's just a difficult play to stop. It'll be interesting to see, Jerome, what the NFL does with rules pertaining to that in this offseason, because I know it's been a kind of a point of contention how they're going to maybe address that, because they feel like it is tough for a defensive line to stop. So we'll see about that in the offseason. Patrick, what do you got? Hey, morning all. Looks like a made for the start for a change. Miracles never cease. Well, glad he made it for the start. Yeah, I see it right down there, 7 o'clock. So yeah, congrats and making the show, and thanks for being here, man. Southwest, in the Miami game when Dak wasn't in the pocket, he on rollouts, he was making throws running to his right. Yeah, he's a right-handed quarterback. He's normally going to favor that side rolling just from a mathematical standpoint. So but a good catch on your part, Southwest. Good catch indeed. Brent, what do you got? Good morning, everyone. Lions will do it in Dallas with the running game. I like how you incorporated the do there. Yeah, and Dallas is going to have to come up with some answers for the Lions rushing attack. You're facing one of the better running teams in the entire league, and stopping the run has not been a strength of yours. Some of it is, I know I talked about it a little bit yesterday with Micah Parsons, phenomenal player and such, great at what he does at getting after the quarterback. But as we also talked about, look at his size, look at his arm length. These are things that are not great for stopping the run game. And when I did a little bit more review of a lot of Dallas's second layered defenders, so linebackers, safeties, etc., really a ton of their linebackers are undersized. And I guess I didn't realize that at first until I did the deeper dive into it. But they do have undersized linebackers, and a lot of them kind of fit the similar mold. They're basically really big safeties out there playing linebacker. And Parsons is great at what he does, phenomenal player. It's just stopping the run isn't exactly an ideal situation for him. And I know I used the comparisons to James Houston yesterday. I think that Dallas has a lot of players out there that are similar in that regard. All right, Jerome, hey, Coach, for a player to be named a team captain, is that a big deal? To the players, yes, it is. Coaches, probably some degree, but not overly over the top. But the players, yeah, that's a badge of honor. Detroit D, can't wait to see how AG deploys our safeties against the Cowgirls. Yeah, and, he's going to have, obviously, like we talked about in the last few weeks, we talked about he's got more flexibility now, especially with Iffy's emergence. I know there were some questions about Cam Sutton. I get he injured one of his toes yesterday. My guess is he's going to be out there on the field. I don't think it would limit him, but I guess we'll wait and see. But a lot is going to center around what Sutton does or can't do on Saturday. But I'm thinking he'll be out there and be fine. I hope I'm right. All right, Wayne, good morning. Could Jacobs be on special teams? He could be, yes. Could Jamor or Gibbs be surprise returners? They both obviously have the abilities to fit that role. I just don't know if you'd put them out there for that. I get maybe if the game's on the line or something like that and you got to get a big return. But if it was me, I would not be putting them out there. But, man, it would be fun to see what they could do. All right, Trump, Santa brought me a Weatherby. All right, congrats for that. All right, Detroit D, we are in good hands with the people in charge now. Yeah, these guys, we should all have faith in them. It doesn't mean they're going to do everything perfect, but they've established a trend line for 3 seasons now, and that trend line's pretty dang good. All right, Jerome, head coach, a player for the Packers got suspended a game messing with a coin toss. Do you know what he did wrong? Yeah, he was not noted or designated a team captain, and he went out there for the coin toss. That's only for the captains. So the fact that he injected himself like that, I mean, I don't know if I would have suspended him for a game, but there probably needed to be some kind of disciplinary action done. Suspending him for a game, that seemed extreme to me, but that's also not my team. Manbear, good morning. All good morning to you too. Hopefully you have a great one. All right, Southwest Lions should be most of their running north, south, or off tackle. Whenever Miami tried to run east or west behind the line of scrimmage, Dallas team speed stopped it for the most part. Yeah, and to your point, I like what you're saying there because what we were saying about most of their backers being basically big safeties, they're going to have more speed. So to your point, allowing things to go east or west, team speed is going to show up more. Going north and south, the shorter arm length, the lack of mass, those things are going to show up a lot more. Obviously, one of those situations favors the Lions more than the other. So to your point, I'd be running north-south on them. All right, Dominic, good morning from Texas. Preseason prediction was 13-4. Lions will make my prediction come true! ! Beat Dallas on Saturday and break their home streak. Then first round bye with the help of Matthew Stafford. All right, Matthew Stafford still paying dividends for the Detroit Lions. I like it. All right, Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, all. Good morning to you too. Troy D, I would run right at Mike Parsons all game. Yeah, and I got to imagine that's part of the game plan. Yeah, I would just say, yeah, pound him into the ground. And no disrespect, I think he's a great player, but this is one of his weaknesses. Take advantage of the weaknesses. All right, Southwest, the blueprint is clear: win time possession, win the turnover battle. I'll take that. And I'd say that's real good thinking. Wayne, what do you got? Lions 38, Dallas 6. That is a beat down, Wayne. That is a beat down. Triggerman, do we keep Bruce Irvin? I believe so. I know him and Michael Badgley are both on the practice squad. They both have one game left where they can be elevated before they have to be signed to the 53-man roster, or you just don't have any more practice level elevations out of them. So it's in my anticipation you'll see both of them elevated from the practice squad that will eat up those remaining games. And then at that point, the Lions, yeah, they're going to have to sign them for the Minnesota game and the postseason. And I would think, especially with Badgley, you probably signed him pretty quick, because if somebody just wants to be spiteful and take your kicker and leave you kickerless, that would not be good for the team, because who are you going to get at this point? My marker, good morning, coach. Realistically, how much control does Dan Campbell have over the details of the O&D schemes, whether he will or not in his private office? Just what can he demand of AG and D, or Ben John, or DJ? So to answer, let's start with this. To answer your point, he can have total control over it. It is his team. Now he's hiring these people because he has faith in them. That doesn't mean that he doesn't come on over and say, hey, I need you to start doing this or that, because he can always replace them at any time. If you're going to be insubordinate to your head coach, then yeah, you won't be around very long. I know him and Anthony Lynn were very, very good, close friends. And look at it this way: the first year here, he had to make it. MCDC had to make a choice to replace Anthony Lynn, or basically move him to a different position other than offensive coordinator. I'm sure that wasn't fun for him. It's never fun for any coach to have to go through it. But at the end of the day, you want something done in a way you feel is better, you're going to make that call, because you know what? Especially at the level these guys are at, you are hired to be fired. If you're not winning, you're probably getting a pink slip and a paycheck to go sit on the sidelines and watch football from home. So, yeah, he's got a lot of control over it, and he can demand whatever changes be made. All right, Dominic, Dallas cannot come back from behind. Early lead means big things for us. I like that. Yeah, 100% agree. Southwest, Dallas will be extra motivated coming off of 2-game losing streak. Yeah, they're going to want to try to get right mentally, especially before the playoffs. So I'm anticipating they're coming out, throwing haymakers early and often. JDC, hope the Cowboys put up a stinker. Me too. I hope they don't even show up. I hope they don't even make it into the stadium. Just call the game now. Southwest, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dallas double St. Brown and Laporta. Hopefully we will see Gibbs and JMO running shallow crossing patterns. Yeah, and the problem would be or the good thing for Detroit, I would guess, would be if you commit 4 people to guarding those 2, that leaves 7 people for everybody else. So if you're going to rush 4, now you got 3 people covering 4 people. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's going to Dallas. If they're going to double down, they probably are going to double 1, maybe on rare moments 2, but you're playing with fire if you're doubling 2 people, unless you're only going to rush 3 people after the quarterback, which maybe they will. I mean, it's totally possible. Detroit D, we should be treating this game like a playoff game. Yeah, and I think in a lot of ways it's going to have that feel for sure. You're going to have people coming out. The Lions obviously have reasonings to win. Dallas, does have a small chance to still get to their division crown. So they're going to want to play just for the home crowd, get rid of the 2-game losing streak. They do have some incentives to play this game as well. Matthew, get Montgomery going early, then hit them with Jamo, Amara, Laporta, and Gibbs. Yeah, a lot of weapons in Detroit, and I like the way you're thinking. Getting Montgomery going early, yeah, just help set up that play action pass and get other people going in stride. All right, Detroit, how awesome would it be for the Lions and Browns make the Super Bowl, cap off with a Lions win? Something nobody's seen since 57 or whatever. So it's been forever. And they used to be the premium teams going against each other regularly. But yeah, it could be the time for that rivalry to come up again. And I know I was talking to some people during the game last night about it. And just, man, Joe Flacco, how many teams missed the boat on keeping this guy around, and including the Jets? I mean, the Jets, I get, okay, you had Aaron Rodgers. You were thinking, hey, he was going to be the guy. But, man, you had this guy last year, and you didn't re-sign him this year when you thought, Rodgers is going to be gone for the year. Yeah, good for Joe Flacco, man. Good for the Browns. Good for that town. Good for the team. Yeah, they're a great story right now. All right, Ed, we got good morning, coach. With so many guys coming back, plus some of the newer guys, how will this defense? Yeah, how will the defense develop? I think you really can't ask much more. I mean, the secondary has definitely improved. Maybe it would have been better if Mosley would have stayed healthy. Hard to say, but it's reasonable to assume it would have been better. But now you're getting even deeper with Gardner Johnson back, Iffy Milifano getting lots of reps the last few weeks. Kirby Joseph continues to, develop upwards. Sutton, hopefully healthy, and now you look at the linebackers. The linebackers are showing, I'm not going to say they're the absolute strength of the defense, but they're a lot probably better overall than what most people anticipated coming into the season. Defensive line, hey, Buggs is back. He's playing well. Hutchinson, I get he doesn't have the sacks, but you know what? He leads the league in pressures, in flushes. So he's doing his job. He's getting the quarterback. He's just not getting him out of the ground. Hey, getting Houston to that mix, adding Irvin, you're going to start having some depth. You're going to start having some pass rush. You just got more opportunities to do different things instead of just the same thing over and over, which unfortunately most of the season on the necessity, that's what the defense had to do. So good call on that, Ed. Excuse me. Troy D, I agree with you. Matthew, yep. Southwest, goal should be to make physical contact with Parsons on every play. I would be running right at him. Yeah, and they've got to have a game plan for him because you've got to account for the other team's best players. And if you don't, you're doing a disservice to your team. Ed, have the defense practiced enough together to know each other? Has it? That'll be one of the things about getting Gardner Johnson and Houston back out there together, along with the other guys. It's just kind of getting their feet wet, getting back into the flow of things. I think that's probably more of a topic for Gardner Johnson just because of the nature of his position. Where Houston, I don't think they're going to overly work him this year or at this point in the year in the playoffs with his position. I think when he comes in, he's going to come in being asked to go after the quarterback. All right, Robert, the sports bar in Detroit should be hopping Saturday night. Woo! Yeah, yeah, they should be. And I think there'll be a lot of spots throughout Michigan. I know there's a couple. I'm trying to think of one up in the UP, Uperman's. That place will probably be packed and just crazy, but there'll be places all over. I've reached out to some people seeing if anybody wants to hang out and where I live, and a couple of us might get together and go do that. But yeah, they're gonna be a lot of Lions fans showing up in different places. But to be fair, there'll be Dallas Cowboy fans too. All right, Trump, 31-24 Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Ryan, I hope it's not a Dallas win by referee. Keep Laundry off the field and let them play. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking, especially after that playoff loss in Dallas, 9 years ago. It was funny to see Ndamukong Suh mention that. I think it was in a bit yesterday, that he's still less than happy about that. All right, Matthew, what do you got? Good morning, Lions fans. Lions turnovers are the key. The game will come down to the last possession. I believe you're right on that, that the game will probably be whoever has the ball last, I should say. If Lions have it, maybe they're just trying to do what they did against the Chargers and other teams. Green Bay, the season finale last year, where they're just, hey, we're eating up the clock. We're getting first downs. You're not getting the ball back. Super Bowl bust time from our good friend Donkey Kong. I like it. Donkey Kong, let me know your score prediction for tomorrow night. Nathan, morning Duke crew. Tomorrow night's game is going to tell us a lot about our defense. I agree. This will be a big test for them, and I get they're trending upwards the last few weeks, but this will show really how much further they can still go, hopefully. JDC, needs zero stupid delay of game penalties. Let's hope they don't have any this game. All right, Southwest, go to article in the Detroit News with John Kaminsky. He regrets not falling on the ball. Grateful if he made the INT and said he won't make that mistake again. Yeah, I'm sure he just kind of got into the moment, saw it right there, saw the end zone, literally whatever it was, 15, 18 yards away. But in hindsight, if he learns from it, the team survived. hey, we're all much the better. And I'm sure he's buying Iffy, or probably bought him a Mountain Dew or two after the game. All right, Patrick, as other teams in our division improve, the Lions will also be improving and not just standing still. So our future is bright. Yeah, and to your point, Patrick, I get the Bears are going to have, to me, it would be the most logical thing for them to trade out of the number one pick and acquire maybe 2 additional picks or whatever, first rounders for that pick. It really comes down to what they think of Justin Fields. I think they're probably going to move on from him. I wouldn't if I was their GM. I think there's enough there where if you continue to develop him and now you add more weapons around him, that could really be a good franchise. Of course, here's the key point, though. You have to hit on those picks. And yes, Justin Fields needs to keep developing. The Green Bay Packers have one of the younger offenses in all the league, maybe even the youngest. I'm not 100% sure. They typically draft pretty well there, so they could be around for a while. Minnesota Vikings, they get the quarterback situation solved and add some youth to that defense. They could be around. So this division should be very competitive for a while. But to your point, Brad Holmes, he should be known as a draft master because he puts on a master class, it seems, every year in the draft. And I don't see that trend changing. He adds another year of free agent signings, removing some dead cap from the current roster, and now drafts well again. Yeah, this team is going to be exponentially better next year. All right, Southwest, first time in all of the years I followed the Lions that I feel like they have competence in the front office and coaching. Makes a huge difference. It does. Just like any business or franchise in sports. If you're incompetent at the top, it trickles downfield and it's hard to overcome. If you don't have the right people making the calls, you got a bunch of people that don't know anything making those calls. Yeah, it's going to hurt you. No disrespect for any of the prior owners or leadership in the Lions, but I can just tell you this from my time being a reporter and a beat writer for the Lions and all that. That's one thing I think most of us were aware of when you watched things start unraveling with the team in the, we'll say the mid 90s, late 90s, is that you could just see the disparity between the coaching staff and the front office, especially the GMs. When you hear people saying, hey, you can't quote me on this, but I dislike this person, that person's an idiot, I couldn't disagree more with this pick. People are willing to come out to people they only kind of know, reporters. I get, you develop, friendships, relationships with your counterparts in the coaching staff or whatever, but you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. But to the point I'm making, that's what really tanked, in my opinion, the 90s Lions. They started letting players go, saying, hey, we can just get cheaper there. They were being way too frugal. They should have kept a lot of that core team around, and he probably would have got a few more seasons out of Sanders. All right, but enough on that. But you're 100% right, Southwest. If you don't have good people at the top, yeah, it's almost impossible to win. All right, Ed, sorry, it's hard to text out on the lake. Go Lions. Hey, don't worry about it, man. I'm sure you're fishing and having a good time, man. Just do what you can. Don't worry about it. I'll try to interpret where you're going with things, man. Trump's, hey, you say you want to own the world. It's all right by me. There's no request. Hey, you, nah. BTO. Okay, go with that. All right, JDC at Ed Lakes and Rivers Rock. Enjoy. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Philly, how you doing, man? Greetings and salutations. Same to you, buddy. Hopefully you're having a great one this morning. Robert St. Brown reminds me of Isaiah Thomas, Rip Hamilton. Everything starts through him. Yeah, good references there. Very good. Phil, Bruce playing this game? I'm anticipating yes, just because they do have one elevation to the left, and I get that's probably why they haven't elevated him other times, just trying to keep the 3 before signing him. You got to win this game, where next weekend's game is meaningless. Well, I shouldn't say meaningless, but it probably doesn't have nearly as much meaning. So my anticipation is, Phil, that, yeah, he'll be out on the field this game. All right, Southwest Mellons played a lot of hero ball in that game. I think a key in this game will be forcing Dak into getting rid of the ball before he wants to or has time to go through his progressions. Yeah, 100%. Force that ball out of his hands as fast as you can. Either that or he's going to get sacked. So I agree. Scott, good morning, Duke Crew, Lions Nation from Canada. Bummer that CJ isn't playing this week, but it could be worse. We could be Green Bay benching one of the best DBs in a must-win game. off. Gong show, go Lions. Yeah, I'm really surprised they benched him for the infraction. Should he have done it? No. I think there's a learning opportunity here with a younger player. Just say, hey, we're gonna have you do this or that, whatever you want, but just learn from it. Make sure you don't do it again. Benching him for the game just because the impact it has on everybody else now. Like you pointed out, Scott, he's one of the better players on the team. The teammates are aware of that. I don't think it's that egregious to take it to this level, but I'm not the Packers. Obviously, to them, that's a no-fly zone. Trump, damn will do his pants. All right, I'll go with that. I will do my pants. All right. Let's see. Trump, Zach will. All right, Zach will. Okay. Robert, how many hours before the game starts does your anxiety start to build, Coach? So for me, I'll be real honest, you guys. Even after 34 seasons, I still get that before the game. I'd say probably about 2 hours before the game, I start feeling, getting focused, the tunnel vision, all that stuff, getting ready for the game. And one trick I learned years ago to help just bring me back down and calm, you guys got to crack up. I start putting in my head Darth Vader's theme music, especially when we come out on the field or the court, depending on the sport, maybe that 20, 30 minutes before the start of the game. I just start playing that in my head. It just calms me down. I don't know why, man. It just makes me feel confident, makes me feel focused and ready to go. So Darth Vader's theme music. Look it up if you don't know what it is, but I'm guessing most of you do. Silver Surfer, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully you're having a great one. Southwest, hopefully Goff and Ben Johnson learned what not to do from the last time they played Dallas. I think they had 5 turnovers in that game. Yeah, and really it was a game they could have won. I shouldn't say easily, but they could have definitely won that game. I know we're all going to say about the fumble at the goal line, but there were a number of other ones for sure that impacted the game. Remove that, you got a chance, I think. JDC, if the Lions play bad, I might do myself. Well, let's hope they don't do that to you guys. All right, Mile Margaret, is it true? I heard the last time Dallas lost at home was against Tom Brady in last season's opener. I'd have to check on that, Mile. I don't know offhand. I know I want to say they have a 14-game winning streak at home or right around there. So somebody have to check that. I just don't know offhand. All right, Southwest Smash Mouth football with lots of play action. I'm down with that. Randy, good morning, Coach. I feel the defense is playing between 60 and 70% mistake-free football. If those numbers don't get better, the playoffs could be over before they start. Your thoughts? I think they're playing, definitely more assertive football. Excuse me. Last week, let's give Justin Jefferson some credit. Some of those catches were, he was double coverage and just made a great play on the ball. That also being said, the Lions at times, yes, are still making too many mistakes for my liking. The one thing I will say is they are getting more physical, they are getting more assertive, and they're getting faster on the field. They're putting more difference makers out there. Maybe I shouldn't say difference makers, but more athletes out there so they can cover more. They can get to the quarterback faster. They can close on passes faster. Yeah, that early in the year, that was tough for me to watch. But anywho, to your point, they definitely have some deficiencies from a personal standpoint. I think they're finally just saying, the heck's with it. We're going to go after you. And if you make a play, you would have probably made some plays anyways. They're going to have to do everything they can to mask some things. Gardner Johnson should help out with some stuff when he returns. Houston, probably on a limited basis. And then Irvin as well. So I think we'll end up being pretty decent. We're not going to be a top 10 defense. But I think by the time the playoffs start, there's a realistic expectation. We could be like a number 15 through number 11 style defense. And if the offense is on those games, we should probably win some games. Merlot, what do you got? The Wayne Shrek 38-6. Hey, that was 91 playoff game score. Okay, I'll take it. Yeah. Bring a throw back to the last time we won and in the playoffs, and the last time we beat Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. Even though this is a playoff game, it may have that feel. All right, Southwest. Even though Minnesota gashed the Lions for 400 yards passing, what I like is that the defense is not burned out. Indeed, a lot of those 400 yards came on perfect throws, contested catches. Yeah, like the one on whatever it was, 3rd and 27. I mean, you got two guys there hitting Justin Jefferson as he's making the catch. Yes, you could argue maybe they could have been like a half step faster to bat it down, but give Justin Jefferson some credit for catching it and holding on. All right, one funky. They shouldn't do anything about the tush push. It's something every team can do. It's just that Philly is really good at it and the other teams can't. I would like to be saying Buffalo can't run a quarterback draw. Okay, yeah. What they'll do about it, I don't know, man. I know they've talked about it. I know, the commissioners talked about it. Whether or not he'll do something, we'll wait and see. But my guess is for him to comment on it that much, he's probably leaning towards talking to the owners about putting in some sort of augmentation to the rule book about it. Thomas, run the ball. Yeah, I got to imagine we'll be running it quite a bit tomorrow night. Southwest, just be careful not to hit Dak too late. Refs will throw the flag. Will flag the Lions for that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're going to be watching out for it, especially going into the playoffs. They want to keep the quarterbacks healthy for the playoffs. Phil, who's down if we sign Bruce and Badgley? I know they cut. Was it? What's the kid's name? Cornerback, drafted 2 years ago. They cut him yesterday. They'll probably cut somebody else, but I know the one linebacker that Southwest loves, Nowitzki, he got cut as well. So I think that's the two. But I think they also are going to have to make one more spot because they brought up the fullback yesterday. Who the other person is going to be, Phil, we'll have to wait and see. Thomas, what do you got? I hope the refs don't make the game about the refs again. Yeah, that would be great if we don't notice the refs, they're doing their job. Aaron, good evening, Coach. Dallas having trouble stopping the run. I think Amani Gibbs can run all over them. I agree. Unless Dallas is going to do something they haven't done in the last several games to stop the run. To your point, Aaron, yeah, I think we should have some favorable matchups on the ground. All right, Trumps, it's Dallas. The refs are in the bag. Watch. They might be. Now, if they come off the party bus or party plane, that would be a real issue. Aaron, run, not ran. I knew what you meant, man. Yeah, you're good, man. Let's see. Southwest Dallas defense actually played a pretty good game, holding Miami to 22 points. Yeah, and some of that is I think Miami is so built around the pass, and the Dallas defense favors shutting down the pass. That's probably not a bad matchup. Where Miami probably caught Dallas off guard a little bit is their ability to run the ball a little bit more than anticipated. So because of that, I mean, it was a close game, and they got the win. Brian, you think Irvin gets signed to active roster? I think, probably not before the Dallas game, but afterwards, I think you're going to have to. Same with Badgley, just because, again, this will be the last game if they move them both up. And I'm guessing Badgley, without questions, getting moved up, because if not, you don't have a kicker. So, yeah, after this game, if Irvin and Badgley are up, you're going to have to sign them to the 53-man, either that or that's the only way they can be elevated for game days. All right, one funky. The Lions have gotten favorable calls lately. Last week, Goff threw a pass backwards that bounced out of bounds, and they called it an incomplete when it should have been a fumble and lost for yards. Hey, sometimes you get lucky with calls. Sometimes they go against you. Sometimes they go for you. But to your point, yeah, we've maybe the law of averages from all the decades of things going against us. We've gotten a few to go our way. Let's see. Southwest, Matt Smith will be playing where Hankins normally plays. He lost about 40 pounds, under 300 pounds. They rely more on speed with their current personnel. Yeah, and to your point on that, I think with our ends, so if you look at Hutchinson, Irvin, maybe Pascal, Kaminsky, a group of them, I think that's a favorable matchup for us. And Dallas is probably going to have to help Smith out on a lot of plays. Anytime you go to a backup, they're not, obviously they're backup for a reason, but the other part is just because the mass difference. I think, yeah, you're going to want to be protecting Dak Prescott a little bit more than you normally would. So you're going to have to pull more chip blocking or double blocks for him, or double team blocks, I should say. One funky, they also have St. Brown at first down when he was clearly a yard short. Yeah, I remember the one where he caught it, kind of ran back a little bit, and they still marked him down. Hey, is what it is, man. Take all the breaks you can get. Randy, blitz iffy every third play. Dak rattles easily with pressure. Yeah, and I think you're going to want to keep the Blitzburg going. T-Share, what do you get? Great news on James Houston. I do believe I have a chance. We have a chance in Texas. Oh boy, the Cowgirls and everyone has a good do. 30. Cheers, coach. Same to you. I will be drinking a do or two during the game for sure. One funky, a yard, stupid autocorrect. Yeah, no worries, man. Don't worry about it. General Brown, we got Lions defense is going to be the key to this game. Exclamation point. I can't wait. Let the big pass plays downfield kill us. Yeah, we can't let the big pass plays kill us. 100%. Get pressure on them. You know, hey, pressure not only does it rattle people, make them throw faster than they should, but also doesn't always allow deeper plays to develop because you just don't have time. Accuracy goes downhill too when you're under pressure. Trump, I think it's Miami or Ravens for AFC. I'm going to go with Ravens on that one. It doesn't mean Miami can't win it, but yeah, I think to your point, yeah, you're one of those teams right now. Detroit D, great point at General Brown. Agreed. Robert G, last time Detroit won in Dallas, it was 2011, 34-30. It's been a minute. Justin, what do you got? Good morning, everyone. Pistons almost pulled it off last night. You know, you'd have to tell me, man, because I have not paid attention to them in recent weeks. I'm aware of the streak, but man, talk about a franchise where we're talking about ownership, trickles down to front office, down to the coaches, down to the players. Yeah, if I've said it before, and I'll probably end up saying it again, this is so bad for the Pistons. I am almost left to believe this is some sort of effort where if they can tank the attendance out low enough that maybe they can move the Pistons to a different city or state. This is just almost unlawfully bad mismanagement. All right, Don Kong, Dallas 45, Lions 17. Oof, I hope you're wrong on that one, man. All right, JK, what do you got? Good morning, Lions Talk. Good morning to you too. Hopefully having a new one. Joe, blitzing and running the ball. And as we saw last week, amazing wideouts will get theirs, but Lions will have a close game, will win a close game. Yeah, I like the way you're thinking, man. Very much so. Gary, this is the game I've been waiting on. Dallas, just overrated. Plus, it's Dallas. No one around here likes Dallas. I agree, man. I agree. All right, JD, what do you got? Lions 36, Cowgirls 31. Sold. I'll take it. Let's get that like button going. Yeah, I can't see it on my screen. So if you guys haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider subscribing. And if you could, hit the like up, thumbs up button. All right, Trump, not Kaminsky's fault. We gave up 30-yard pass on fourth down. Yeah. They should not have allowed that. But, you know, it happens, man. Hey, we survived. Let's go with that. Yeah, Gary, I'm a third-generation Lions fan. Hooray, finally a legit football team. Yeah, you've got to go back basically about a generation to the 90s, and last time they were really relevant. Phil, fumble recovery is tough, taught in grade school. Don't pick up the ball, jump on it, and curl up. 100%. Yeah, and he fumbled the recovery there. All right, Southwest. Bland likes to jump throws on the sidelines. I would think he could be vulnerable to up and out and fake to the sideline and then run to the middle. Yeah, he'll be somebody who's that aggressive on the out routes, to your point. Yeah, you can hit him definitely with some double moves and then get them out of that. One funky. If I'm Chicago, I'm taking Harrison Jr. number 1 and the Nabblers at 6, wherever they pick. Then O-line on day 2. Plus, I'm spending money on the O-line. That team could be get dangerous real quick. Yeah, 100%. I see a lot of possibilities for that team. They'll do what they want, obviously. They have to obviously believe in Justin Fields. I think I see enough problems for anybody defending him where I'm keeping him and just continuing to develop him. Then I'm going to invest in other spots in the team. But that's what I would do. It doesn't mean that's what the Bears are going to do. Phil, Earth Thornton, all right. I'm down with that. I see what you're saying. Darth Thornton. Yes. Yeah. In my head, that's the music that goes off right before the game. Southwest with the seismic changes AJ has made. Does that open up for Hutchin to be lined off the line of scrimmage more than standing position? ? He did better with that last year. I've seen it a little bit more in the last few weeks, but not a ton. I do agree with you that they could keep doing that with him. All right, just a few more here, and it's due 30 for me. Michael, should we double team Parsons? Depends on the situation, but a lot of that's going to come down to, do you have faith in Decker and Panay? Dallas does have him go at the guards sometimes. I think with our guards and our center, uh, on passing downs, there might be some chip blocks on release routes, but I'm probably not overly doubling them unless he starts going off. Then I probably make some adjustments in a hurry. Robert, I know my anxiety starts when I wake up that morning. Yeah, it affects everybody differently. One of my best coaching buddies is a dude named Donnell Smith. And, we've coached against each other, with each other for eons. And yeah, I remember his team and my team were facing off in a league championship game. And this is 20 plus years ago or whatever. And we're sitting there, whatever it was, like maybe an hour before the game. Players are just, on the courts warming up and stuff. We just sit down and start talking about life and everything. And I look at him because you could read Donnell's face. He was feeling a little bit. I was like, "What's up, man?" And he was like, "Hey, I'm a little worked up about this game, blah, blah, blah." And he was like, "What do you do? How do you handle it?" And I told him the Darth Vader theme music thing, and he just started laughing. And he felt better. But I was like, "No, man, I'm being serious. That's what's going on in my head right now." So I told him he should try it. He did not try it, but I think he's found some other ways to help alleviate some of that anxiety. All right, Robert G. It was much easier to control when we lost all the time. Yeah, when you're winning and the expectation is to continue winning, that's a different level of stress. When you don't have expectations, man, you're out there at the craps table just playing with house money all day long. All right, yeah, Chase Lucas. Thank you for that, Michael. Yeah, Lucas. Yeah, JD. Yeah, yep. I couldn't remember his name offhand. All right, Uncle, what do you got? Lots of flags. The NFL scripters will want to keep the Lions-Rams game. Could be, but let's hope we break the script. All right, Thomas, nothing like a revenge game versus the Seahawks in the playoffs. Also, sweet revenge for Houston and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The game they both got hurt in. Yeah, you are correct on that. I had not considered that aspect, but you are 100% right. All right, Southwest, the NFC North is going to be one of the better divisions in the league next year. Chicago has all those draft picks and $100 million in cap space. Fortunately, the Lions have good people in charge. They do, and yeah, you got to hit on those picks if you're Chicago. If you do, you've got something. If you don't, ooh, what a wasted opportunity. Ryan, who do you want them to draft in the first round next year? I know I keep telling you guys I got a mock, and I do, and I got to get it out to you guys. I'll try to get it out. I just got to finish it, man. I've got us taking a offensive lineman towards the end of the first round. To me, there's just better value at that position than anything else. Who knows what will happen in the real draft? Teams take players I'm not anticipating. Then maybe it changes. But to me, you need to get some youth on the offensive line. You want to keep a strength strong, and that's where I have him going. Mason Smith is having surgery, I think, possibly, yeah. Phil, Barnes or Rodrigo? Probably for this weekend, unless Barnes is all healed up, probably Rodrigo. And Rodrigo, I thought, played pretty well last week. All right, just a couple more here. Thomas, Lions need defense and then corner help first round, either or. Yeah, it just, for me, the way the draft board went when I did the mock, I thought there was better value there. And then I had them getting better value in the second and third round with cornerback and edge. They may have to address one of them in free agency again, though. Scott, hey, Coach, I'm 99.999 on board with regime and what they've done for our squad. But what's the love affair with players like Kabinda and Will Harris? So much good to note, but this always stumps me. Kabinda and Will Harris, yeah, I couldn't tell you because Kabinda, it seems like he's always hurt. Will Harris, the only thing good I could say is we haven't really seen him out on the field much in the last, probably getting close to a month and a half or somewhere right around there at least. I'm not really sure why they've been so on him, but they have been, and it does appear they're starting to move off him. All right, Lorraine, what do you got? We've got the guys on the 53-man roster that haven't played much. Stephen Gilmore, Antoine Green, Will Harris, Broderick Martin, Julian Aquara, Anthony Pittman. We can prune the tree if we need to. Yeah, there's some guys to get rid of for sure if it has to. All right, Michael, go Lions, 100%. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it a show here. We're just about an hour. The Mountain Dew is calling me, and I got to get some stuff done before workday begins. So If there is some breaking news later today, of course, I'll hop on and try to get to you guys as quick as I can, at least. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're roughly 70 subs away from 5,000. So if you'd be willing to help out with that, I sure would be thankful. Hit that like button. Go enjoy your day. Have a do. Give somebody a hug. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.